Hey. Hey. Oh. Hey. Last night we ripped off a pretty good drive out here. Went from Minnesota to central North Dakota. We're out here getting ready to go duck hunting. The wind is absolutely ripping. We're on a spot we've never been to before, and we're sending it in the dark. And we're gonna get after it. First day of the trip, going down right now. But before we get into all that, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ryan Pincala. I consider myself an avid outdoorsman, and although I'm not a professional videographer, I've somehow always found myself documenting my outdoor experiences through the lens of a camera. My passion for adventure led me to discover the world of wild food. Exploring the world as a hunter, fisherman, and even forager opened my eyes to the connection between epic places and good food. I've made it a mission to spend my fall chasing wild ingredients and doing what I love. Sharing stories and creating amazing food. And this is the meat season. We got in here super early. We got a ton of time until legal shooting light, but the blind's looking pretty good. We're ready to smash, so hopefully they fly us this morning. We're gonna light them up. Here we go. There's some off over there. That was dope. Harvest. That was Mallard. Like as good as it gets, bro. That thing was feet down. Sick. So waterfowl season has been pretty damn good, I'm not gonna lie. We had a lot of good hunts, North Dakota, a bunch of stuff in Minnesota, and shot a ton of really nice ducks, a lot of mallards, big ducks. We did a lot of teal hunting too. Really didn't get any divers, but this time we're gonna cook the mallards. So I'm gonna do mallard breast. We're gonna do an awesome poutine with seared mallard breast on top. And I'm looking forward to this already. I mean, it looks amazing before I even start. So we're gonna get into it right now. And pretty much gonna start off just making fries, and got some big boys right here, some long potatoes. We're gonna do fries from scratch. They're 10 times better than the ones you buy at the store, and since it's really not that hard of a process, we're gonna do the potatoes, do the gravy, do the meat, and we're in business. So we're gonna put this together really quick, and I'm just gonna run you through how to do it right now, and we're just get into it. Here we go. So we got these peeled, got the big boys done. Now it's just time, we just gotta cut them into planks and then we'll make them into fries. So super easy. I'm just gonna take the bottom off, just so it doesn't roll around, and then just cut it into planks. And you do want a pretty damn sharp knife for this. Otherwise it just takes a lot longer. But I'm gonna cut them into fries and then just put them into this bowl of cold water right here. We just want them the same size just so they cook more evenly, but it really doesn't matter. I'm not gonna kid ya. I got these pretty much all chopped up here. They're all soaking. I'm just gonna drain the water off now and then dry them all, because I'm gonna be putting them in the oil. If you put them in the oil with all water on them, you're gonna start your kitchen on fire. Potatoes are all cut up. I just got a wire rack on a pan, and we're gonna fry them 2 times. I'm gonna fry them once, and then they're just gonna hang out while we do everything else. And then right before we plate it all up, we're gonna fry them one more time for like 3 or 4 minutes and get them real golden brown. Let's go to the oil. All right, drop these in for round 1. Don't want to go crazy with all of them, but that's probably about as many as you want to do at a time. It's probably be like 2 batches of fries. So these have been frying for like maybe 5 minutes, and they look terrible, but we're gonna take them out because they need to fry a second time, and that's when they're gonna get golden brown. So this is just kind of like pre-cooking them, so it'll keep the middle super soft and kind of fluffy, and the outside will be super duper crispy. So they'll come out, they'll cool off and dry, and then they'll go right back in. Crisp them up good right before we plate, so everything's nice and hot, and they're gonna look good. They're gonna look real crispy. So I got a little onion, a little garlic. This is a sweet onion, and a little hard stem garlic. Just gonna mince it up small, and this is gonna go into the gravy. So we're gonna do stock, and we're just gonna cook down some onions and garlic and really get in there with the flavors. We're gonna try to build lots of layers of flavor because there's not a lot of parts to this dish. It's literally fries, cheese curds, gravy, and meat. So here we go, gravy time. Super fine dice on this, so we want it to cook down really, really fast and just caramelize a little bit. So that should be plenty with that. We're just going to do half of it. We're not going to do the whole thing. We'll get the onions going, and then we'll come back, smash up and mince a little bit of garlic, add it back to the pan. A couple tablespoons of butter going in this pot. Melt that down, get the onions caramelizing, add a little garlic, and then just add some stock in there. I have a duck stock that I already made, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of beef stock. onions are caramelizing right now, getting really good. I just minced up this garlic. And you could obviously just make gravy with one of these packets, but we're not going to do that because gravy is so easy to make that we're just going to do it ourselves. So I got that stuff going. I got a cup of beef broth right there. And then this jar is duck stock that I already made. We're not going to go over like how to make that, but you could make stock if you want to. But it's just got a lot of good flavor in it. And because we're making duck today, it seemed like an appropriate time to pull it out. So I'm going to do about 2 cups, so 1 cup of each in there. And cook that down just a little bit. We're not going to reduce it down like a ton just because we didn't use a roux. We're just going to use a cornstarch slurry to thicken it up, and it's going to be mint. Stock's going in. And this does not have to be exact by any means. Because all we're going to do is make about how much gravy we want for this whole thing, and then just add some cornstarch to it to thicken it up. And we want a lot of gravy. All I'm going to try to do is get it to a boil, and then I'm going to add that cornstarch and a little bit of cold water to it, and that's going to thicken it up like almost immediately. And then we'll add some salt and pepper just to flavor it up a little more. So I'm just stirring in a little bit of cold water, and you want it to be cold, otherwise this is going to clump up super terrible. And this is probably more than I'm going to need, but I'll just put in a little at a time just till it gets to the consistency I want in the pot. So it's like 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to about 2 tablespoons of water. Alright, we got a little bit of bubbling action going on, so I'm going to add about half this cornstarch in there. And just whisk it in good. And you can see it's already starting to thicken up quite a bit just from that. So give that just 2 minutes maybe, and then if it's not quite thick enough, I'll add just a little bit more, but it should thicken up pretty dang good right there. And then we're just going to throw that on the back burner, let it hang out, and get the ducks cooked. Last step. Alright, I'm going to put some green onion curls on top of this because they look really baller, and they taste pretty dang good too. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the green tops of the scallions, leave the bottom part, I'll use them for something else, and I'm going to cut them into long strings, and then I got this bowl of ice. I'm going to put some ice water in here, and they're going to curl up super nice. We'll put it right on top. It's going to look sweet. So I'm going to leave those off to the side, and pretty much just take these and cut them as thin as I can, the long way here. And once they sit in that ice water for about 2 minutes, they're going to get super curly and really crisp. It's just so unnecessary, but necessary. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so I got some of these mallard breasts. I plucked these ducks and then took the breasts off. So, I mean, if you didn't do it this way, it's going to be a little more difficult because there's not going to be any fat on it. But I seriously recommend plucking them if you can. It only takes a couple extra minutes. Even if you only do the breasts that way, this is the way to do it. So I got a couple of duck breasts here. What I'm going to do is just lightly score the skin. And I don't want to cut all the way through it. You do need a really sharp knife for this. But it's just opening up that top layer, getting down to the fat that's in that skin. So when we render it in the pan, we can maximize how much fat is being rendered out of it. And I'm just lightly scoring that. And this is going to help us get it really crispy. So with the duck breasts, you want to keep them medium rare and don't cook them any further past that, or they're going to get really gamey, kind of a liver taste to them. And this is going to be some absolutely primo meat, and we don't want to overdo it. So I'm going to put them on skin side down. They're going to cook almost entirely on the skin side, render the fat and get crispy, and then we'll flip them over just on the back just to finish them off. And this will only take like 5 minutes maybe. And I'm going to start these in a cold pan. This isn't even on yet. So I don't want to sear in the fat. I want to lay them in here cold and then turn the pan on. That's going to render the most fat out of these as possible. So I'm going to let them all sit. I got 2 more I'll probably throw in right now, and we're going to do all 4 at one time. And we're in business. I'm going to come back and just do salt and pepper, especially on that skin side too. But I'm not going to put pepper on the skin side because I don't want the pepper to burn in the pan. So I'm only going to salt the skin side, but the back side is going to get salt and pepper. So now that fat is starting to render out. You can see it on the side of the pan there. And I'm just going to let these cook on this side almost entirely. I mean, we're going to keep it medium rare, but I don't want to flip it over because then the meat's going to start to dry out right away. So the skin is crisping really, really good right now. And we're just going to let it hang out probably 2 more minutes. And then I'm going to flip them over and just finish them really, really quick. But we want to keep it super rare. That's the goal here. I'm going to roll these over on the back. You can see that skin's gotten real golden and nice. And since we stored it, it didn't shrink up as much as if we would just left it in one piece. It just kind of stays the shape that it was. So 2 minutes on that side, and then we're going to pull them and let them rest. So we're going to let these rest for the same length of time that we had them cooking. And while we're waiting for that, second fry going on the fries. And then we're going to plate up. Got the oil cranked up to about 375 degrees. We got our once fried fries, and we're going for twice fried fries. So I'm going to drop them in batches again, probably do another 2 batches. And this time when they come out, they're going to be golden brown. Just pulling up the last batch of fries. And I'll just put, I did salt the first batch as soon as it came out, just to put salt on it as soon as they're still hot. Otherwise they don't really take any seasoning, but put that hot oil on there. A little bit of sea salt, and we're in business. So I'm gonna get these duck breasts set up here. And now that they've rested, if I would have cut them right away, all the juice would have bled out all over the place. But now they're going to be nice and juicy, and everything that we cooked into them is going to be right inside. So super easy to plate these up. Take some French fries that are still super duper hot. And the crispier the fries, the better, because once you put the gravy on there, they're going to start to absorb it, so they're not going to be as crispy once you do that. But it's worth the time to make them crispy initially. So we got the fries there, and now cheese curds make an awesome poutine. And so we went to the holy land of cheese curds, Wisconsin, and got some Ellsworth cheddar, white cheddar cheese curds. And these are pretty fresh, and they're unreal good. Get in there. You ain't mad at that. Yeah. So if they're super big, you want to break them up, but the fresher the better. So really just kind of sprinkle them across the top. And we got this gravy absolutely super heated. So it's going to start to melt these cheese curds. And between the cheese curds and the duck meat, those are kind of the stars of this whole thing. So we got the cheese curds on. Let me go in with some of this crazy hot gravy. And you can see it is super thick now. Ooh. And you really can't put too much of this, so we're just going to go heavy. Heavy on the gravy. Alright, so now I'm just going to quickly slice up one of these duck breasts. And as you can see, that skin, super crisp. So I'm actually going to flip it over, just a little bit easier to cut it this way. And I'm going to cut nice 1/4 inch thick slices so they don't get too cold right away. But as you can see, perfect medium rare in there. Woo! That's what you're looking for. Duck meat needs to be rare, and it will stay super, super juicy. But, yeah. All right. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to flip these over, across the top like this. And then just real quick, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take some of that rendered duck fat, which is just unbelievable in flavor, and just drizzle that right over top of all this nice meat. Come on. Oh my goodness, dude. I got those green onion curls. I'm just gonna come right in here and finish this off just like that. And that right there is a seared mallard breast poutine that you cannot beat. I'm just gonna get in here real quick while it's still hot. Just get kind of like the perfect bite, a cheese curd, some fries, and some gravy. Oh my God. Next level. I mean, that's totally a Canadian dish. These birds definitely migrated down from Canada, so I felt like it was only doing them justice to do something like this. Oh my God. All right. I'm just gonna tell you right now, just like the last time, you need to make this. Try making new stuff all the time. This is super easy. You can bang this together pretty quick, and just an unreal way to cook waterfowl. Whether you got ducks, geese, whatever, try to pluck them, leave some skin on, cook them in that fat, and you're not gonna be pissed about it. Check that out.